All right, folks, just to make sure that we get the proper playoff scenarios, I've been doing some calculations. You can see here. You know, a lot of very crazy calculations, you know, a lot of calculus stuff. You know, I majored in math, so I figured as a commissioner, it's my responsibility to make sure we got the playoff scenarios correctly. I'll be honest with you, I spent hours and hours on this, guys, and I still don't have the right answer. I don't know who's clinched yet in the Pro Division. It's kind of tossed up in the air right now. Obviously, the Rec Division is just chaotic as it is, so I decided that since I can't figure out the answer, I'm going to hire a professional professor to get the playoff scenarios. Out of my own slush fund, we're hiring somebody to get the answers right. Here he is, Professor Andy, with the correct answer. Professor Andy, please give me the proper answer here.
Well, it's really quite simple if you know exactly the numbers you're supposed to calculate here. For instance, if you take the goals for and square them, multiply by the power play conversion rate, subtract all shootout wins, and follow with the Pythagorean of the 5-minute major, you wind up knowing all 4 teams that will qualify out of the Pro Division. You have the Puck Buddies, the Ducks, the NWO, and the last team to qualify was the Funkmaster Redux.
Professor, brilliant, you've done it. You figured out what I couldn't figure out. We have 4 teams. How'd you do, Professor?
Well, I should clarify a little. Technically speaking, I am not the professor of mathematics you think I am. But the good news is, I did stay at Holiday Inn Express last night. Hello and welcome to the... Sorry. Hello and welcome to the IHOP again. We're here for another podcast. As you can see, we remain completely insane.
Mint tea. Try it. It's good for your health.
I'm Andy, he's Suds, and we're alone this time because we were going to have Jason back with us, but he decided he had more important things to do, like attend a baseball game.
Yeah, probably with a date. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. I can't say anymore.
Yeah,
I can't say anymore.
What a sellout, man. He actually finds a woman. What's going on there?
Good for you, Jason. Hope you had fun.
Yeah, really. So here we go. This was week 6. This is one of the most important weeks of the season. This is... absolutely a pivotal week, and after it's over, we know 6 of the 8 teams that have a chance at the Cup. We know all 4 teams that are going to be in the Final 4. We know 2 of the 4 teams that will compete for promotion. And we also know that there are 4 teams left for 2 spots in that promotion race. So, without further ado, let's get started, shall we?
Let's do it. All
right.
Before we do, can I ask one thing about the playoff scenario? I want to make sure you talk about the car. I want to make sure we clarify this, okay?
Yes.
For the promotion playoff, and people may not, this is big news, by the way, and it may not be in the rule book, but it's what's going to happen this season. I want to make sure you understand that. It's not going to go to BOG, it's my decree. If you're the top seed and you lose in the first round, and you lose the second round, the consolation game, basically you've lost 2 games as the top seed in the Rec DCHL Cup playoffs, then you will not get promoted. But all you have to do as a Rec Division champion is to win 1 game. Just to win 1 game to promote. So that's the advantage of winning division. If you win the division in the Rec side, you have to win 1 of the 2 playoff games to promote. The only way you will not promote is to lose both playoff games. Okay? For the number 4 seed to promote to pro, they have to win out. They have to beat the 1 seed and they have to beat the next opponent. That's how it is.
The faster way of putting it is this. Whoever wins that 4-team playoff is automatically promoted.
That is correct.
You get the cup, you're going up. It's simple as that.
If you win the playoff, you're definitely moving up. Second team then goes to...
Well, no, first. The other thing is, whoever loses those 2 games, they stay put. They're not going anywhere. After that, we look at the other 2 teams. And the better team of the 2, and in this case, the head-to-head playoff game does count. I think that's very important to... Well, wait a second. No, not
about the playoffs.
Sorry,
playoffs,
no,
yeah.
My mistake. The better team of the other 2 will also go up. So, if you're the 7th seed, there's a lot of pressure on you.
That is correct.
Because, if you're the 3 seed, I should say.
Correct.
There's a lot of pressure on you because if you beat the 2 seed, lose in the final, you're going to be sweating.
Correct. Correct. Well, again, we're going to put this on paper for you, but the bottom line is, there's perks and advantages of being in the division, number one. Number two, the consolation games now count. They have a meaning.
Everything counts.
If you lose back-to-back, you are not going to be promoted. And if you are the pro side, we'll talk about it later on as well, too. If you lose back-to-back, you probably get demoted. FYI.
You will go down.
So FYI, it's a little tweak. I like the tweak. It makes all the games meaningful.
Right.
And it gives the higher seed a bigger advantage. They should have an advantage as well, too. So it makes sense for us. So keep that in mind.
So in this podcast, Seds and I are going to yak about Week 6. We're going to discuss playoff scenarios, look ahead to the final week of the season, and we also want to do a little something that we call Who Do You Have? We're going to take a look at 2 players.
We'll do goalie, we'll do a forward, and we'll do a female player. How about that?
We'll do something like that, yeah. We'll throw 2 players out there that we think are similar, and we'll say, who do you have?
There you go.
So, let's start in Week 6. Let's start with the first game. This was one where there were playoff implications, and we thought, Cobra Kai was coming in struggling. We thought they were going to be able to turn it around here, but let's give full credit to their opponents. The NWO came. They did everything right. They held on. Roderick was great in goal. Mike Johnson carried the day. It was 3-2 the final. With that, the NWO, as it turned out, had all the cards, had all the tiebreakers. They snuck into they got into the playoffs. The fact that there was a result in that game meant the Ducks then qualified. So now we had 3 teams we knew were in. Cobra Kai was hanging on by a thread. So let's think about this game. What really stood out for you in that game? I know you were refereeing all 8 games. You might not remember as much.
No, I do. And again, we have a new feature now. We have Tony Reilly clock. On the clock right here. If we go over 60 seconds. Just want to make it a little bit more shorter for the podcast as well too. I agree with you, Andy. I thought it was a great game. We talked about NWO. Were they the real deal, or they're just having on a run out there? And you know what? This was the acid test, and they actually passed the test. They played very well with only 2 females the entire game.
Yeah, that was
that which was unbelievable. And Gail had, I think, 2 assists. If I recall correctly, she played very, very well. And
let's give credit to Gail. Give credit to Allison Chatham. Very good performance.
They did a great job out there. And Cobra Kai played well, but again, NW got the goal, so give them credit for that as well too.
There you go.
It was a close game. It was not a blowout. It was a close game.
And that definitely put Cobra Kai on the outside. They needed a little help here. We'll get to that later.
Yes, it's surprising that the defending champs were in trouble with this loss. So we'll see what happens.
All right, Game 2. 5-minute majors against the Street Sharks. Coming into this game, the majors had not given up a goal in 95 minutes.
Wow, did not know that. Okay.
The streak continues. They're up to over 2 hours now of shutout hockey. They have shut out the Scorpions. They have shut out the Untouchables. They have shut out the Street Sharks now. Another 2-0 win. With that, they maintained their spot atop, and if results later broke their way, they could snatch the 1 seed, absolutely clinch it. As we just talked about, that's a major advantage. We got to talk about this team. Ever since they've added Todd Elling, they have been pretty much unstoppable.
Yes. You know what? This team always had good defense, and they had Neil in goal. But this season, Neil's playing out, and he's a very good player on the defense side with good speed. And Brian's a goalie, if I recall correctly. Brian's played well. But, let's be honest here. They play such good defense, Brian doesn't get tested that often. He's good, but he's very often out there. And is that right? 4 straight shutouts now?
3 straight now.
3 straight, but 4 of the season? Is that what you said earlier?
I think it's what I said. It was like 100. They're up to about 140, 145 minutes straight.
That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. I mean, I don't care if it's a rec game or a pro game. They are defining how to play defense and how to play goaltending. And Todd Elling, as you mentioned earlier, is the difference maker in the offense. Todd, there's speed there. David with speed there. Neil being out there. They're getting enough offense to get it done.
I mean, this streak is reaching soccer levels. Let's be honest here.
You know what? This reminds me of a team that we no longer have in the league right now, the Blue Barracudas.
I remember that.
The way they play that. That kind of defense overall, that kind of style, but they're not as physical as the Blue Barracudas. They actually play pretty, they're more of a finesse team, and they do a good job. So give credit. This team deserves a lot of credit. They don't get enough pub out there, and FYI, they are now in seed for number 1 position.
Yes. The next game was the last place Chiefs and the first place Puck Buddies, and we all thought, okay, this is going to be an easy game for the Puck Buddies, and then we looked at their bench, or rather their lack of bench.
You know what? We talked about the Ironman tournament we had last Sunday. Well, this was a true Ironman contest because all they had was 5 players, 3 forwards and 2 females and a goalie. That's it. They had the minimum to have a 5 line out there.
It was so bad they were thinking of bringing me out. But the most important thing, they had Jake.
They had Jake, and you know what? They were fatigued, and I thought, playing a team like
The Chiefs.
the Chiefs, who had like 3 lines plus. Had Paul there. They're playing well. This was a chance for the Chiefs to steal some points. I thought really, this was a chance to do that. And at moments, it looked like it was going to happen.
Yeah, I think they were up 3-2 at one point.
3-2, yeah. But they, give the puck away credit. Even though they were tired, they kept coming back. They kept it goal. Kept it the main goal over and over again. And the Chiefs could never put them away. And to credit to the puck race, they won 6-4.
And I think part of the reason is, this is something I heard on the bench. The Chiefs figured out the puck buddy strategy was get the ball to Jake and let him charge up the middle. Well, that's great and all, but you still, even if you know their strategy, you have to stop it.
That's correct. And you know what? You made a good point, Andy. And we'll get back to 30 seconds here because
we have food.
We have food here. So FYI, thank you. Healthy omelet. As I heard Sarah talk about as well to the bench, it's one thing to see Jake's speed, nothing to stop it. And they just couldn't guard him, and that was the difference maker. Did Jake have 5 goals?
5 of the 6. That's right.
Goals. There you go. And you know what? I could hear right now, MVP. I would be surprised if he's win the MVP. And of course, since I picked the awards, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't see anybody else having the award, to be honest with you.
All right, Nick, anything else, Andy, in that game?
No, let's move on to the next game. And actually, let's spend a little extra time on the next game because we had something crazy happen in the next game.
And you know what? This game will be on the YouTube channel somewhere here, there, wherever we put it out there.
Yeah, and you will notice
process right now. Thank you.
It was the Scabs are playing L2T. It's 2-0 Scabs. We're just about to start the second period. Now, as the second period starts...
45 seconds, second period.
Yeah, as the second period starts, I'm commenting that you might be able to hear thunder through the roof of the Rockville Sportsplex. What I didn't know is that I had done some foreshadowing because about 45 seconds in, full-on power failure in the Rockville Sportsplex. You will see probably...
Total darkness for about 5 seconds.
Absolute darkness. I mean, I could not find the exit if I wanted to. So, it was a little bit... everybody had sort of a moment there. It was kind of interesting. Fortunately, it didn't last. Lights came back on. We tried to figure out where we were in the game. We continued. And at the end, it was a good game. I want to give credit to Ted for L2T, who had 2 goals, was trying to keep his team afloat. But in the end, Carlos Cruz just too much, had a hat trick, 6-3 the final. The Scabs pick up the W.
All right, my take on tape. It's a great game. I refereed, obviously, and when the lights went out, it was crazy for about 10 seconds there. And in fact, we had our own Super Bowl moment. I call it Super Bowl moment out there. When the lights went out, there was a shot taken by L2T, and they swore one in. I'm not sure if they were kidding or not, but they swore one in. Obviously, you can't call it a goal. There was no goal. It was.
I don't even know how they could have known it.
Yeah, well, exactly. And I have 30 more seconds back here. It was a great game. L2T showed some toughness. They played well, actually. But again, too much Carlos. And just too many turnovers, and as a result, only 11 shots on goal. There weren't many shots on goal.
I think they were up to 17, but the point is, they didn't exactly.
Yeah, the offense stood out for the for the Scabs, and they got a big win without their captain as well too. So, that's them as well. That helps them secure hopefully a playoff spot in top 4 for the Scabs as well. Next game, Andy.
Yeah, next game. This is one that we vehemently disagreed on. It was the Ducks.
Yes.
The Ducks, who had, by results earlier, clinched a playoff spot, taking on the Funkmaster Ducks, who absolutely needed to win this game, given what was coming up.
Game that we're about. Let's recap here. Andy said Funk Masters, I said Ducks.
Yes.
Those are our picks from last season. We definitely will have someone's going to win here and lose here.
Yeah.
What was the result, Andy?
Well, let's talk about this. That the strategy of the Ducks going in was to shut down Keith. They had heard that I had said they were vulnerable to superstars. They'd also heard that the scouting report of the Funks was that they didn't have anyone else who would step up. Step forward, Nick Moser. Step forward, Sean Bodkin. Step forward, Simon Cantor. Step forward, the rest of the team. They shut down Keith Ingram, and it didn't matter. The Funks found their extra scoring. The Funks found the depth on the team. The Ducks weren't able to come back. Final score 4-2. The Funkmasters get the 4th and final spot in the Final 4 for the DCHL Cup, and the road to Sud Bowl 10 now looks a lot clearer.
Okay, I picked the Ducks here. They actually had a lead here. They actually were up by 2 goals. In control. My only knock on the Ducks, and this is not a knock personnel-wise, it's just knock on a style of play. They don't have enough grinders. They don't have enough people who, they have a lot of good offensive players. They lack grinders, and sometimes you see them get leads and they blow leads because they don't have enough grinders. They remind me a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit of Pravda. They just cannot shut down teams and have a lead out there because they.
Yeah, and given how nice you've been to Pravda, that's not exactly.
Well, again, I just think they need a couple grinders. That team, if they have a couple of grinders who who will lock down, play defense when they're the lead, and they just kill time. They'll be better off. They don't have those kind of players. They have all go players. I thought it was a difference maker here. Give credit to Fuckfast. They were down 2-0. They came back. They showed some heart. They played gritty, and they played more of a playoff-style hockey than the Ducks, I thought. So that was the difference in the game overall.
And end of the first period, this was a team that, the Funkmasters were down 2-0. They looked a little disoriented, and I don't know what was said in the huddle, but it worked. They put 17 shots on goal in that second period, totally turned the game around.
Give all credit for coming back. They played very hard. But this was a close game. Could have gone either way. It was a close game. 4-3 final score. Could have gone either way. I won't be surprised if they meet in the playoffs coming up as well too.
All right, next game. Two Jacks, no Coke. With the Street Sharks loss earlier, the Jacks had qualified for the promotion playoffs. They're taking on an Untouchables team that absolutely needed the win. And on paper, the Jacks had probably a stronger team. They had the best female on the floor. They had
more scoring.
They had more scoring. But as we've established for all this time, in the rec division, nothing counts.
It's just good rec division. You can never pinpoint who's going to show up, what day, what personality, what style, because it's basically a guessing game of the rec division out there, which is fun because it makes things unpredictable. But sometimes it gets to be hair-raising overall as well too.
And that's saying something from Suds, considering he has no hair to raise.
Exactly. Well, I lost that a long time ago.
Now, what if I told you that a female on the floor scored 2 goals and helped her team to a 3-2 win?
And it wasn't Lucy?
It wasn't Lucy. It wasn't even. It was Jessica Nayrod. I want to get
great job. Yeah, she played very well. Without missing the captain too. Jay wasn't there.
Yes, they were missing Jay. And you know what? This is something that she does. You will notice this every time. If the ball's in the offensive zone, she will go to the net. She will look for a loose ball and she'll try and poke it in the direction of the net. It worked for 2 goals in this case, and it wound up being the difference. A 3-2 win for the Untouchables. Suddenly, the last spots are wide open. We'll get to that later.
Got it. You know what? I do want to give Jessica a lot of credit here. She just plays hard. She plays smart, and there's a lot to be said for that in our league out there. She does the right things. She may not be the most fastest player in the world, or the best shooter in the world. She does the right things. If you watch her play, another female who I think is a role model for our league in general. Watch her play. She's passionate. She plays hard. She understands the game out there. So I was happy for her and for Team Funk for the Untouchables. And let me just tell you guys, for this team to be in the top 4 right now, from an expansion team, is unbelievable. Brand new players, brand new team, no goal scoring. They are doing it. This shows you how important defense and goaltending is in this league out there. If you can play defense and goaltending, you're going to be okay.
Exactly. Now, this opened the door in our next game, Babylon Warriors and Scorpions. Thanks to all the results that happened before. The winner, if there was a winner in regulation, was right in the thick of things. The loser was done. And the previous week, the Scorpions had faced L2T, and Todd was filling in a goal, and Todd stood on his head. Now they're looking across the way, and it's Todd again. Some things just never change, and it came down to who was the best player on the floor that day. And the best player on the floor that day was J.P. Eulinger, Babylon Warriors, who had all 3 goals. 3-1 Warriors, and they've picked themselves up off the mat, down from the depths. They are back. They are not dead yet.
Within range.
And they're not just within range. We're going to discuss this later. They have they are in with a shout. They have an absolute chance.
Oh, okay. Good to hear that. You know what? For the first time in a long time, I saw the Babylon Warriors with bench players, and they had like 2 lines plus. Good to see that. Good to see Patrick Hotz back, Patrick Ambrosio back as well too, Bridget back as well too. Good to see players like that back as well. The key addition, I think they're finally mixing and matching now is Alex, the Montreal, the Canadian Nightmare, as I call him overall, is playing very, very well with JP, and I think this team can make a run if all the players show up as well too. So congratulations to the Warriors. Scorpions, they played well. Again, I have a lot of people who I know, like Andy and Scott and Brian on Facebook, and on the Scorpions, and they're wondering what is holding the Scorpions back. And again, with all due respect to everybody's opinion, my personal opinion with the Scorpions is they don't play a system. There's no system in the Scorpions. If they have a system to believe in, they're not going to win too many games. They have talent. They need to play a system. And look at the Untouchables. A lot less talent, better record. They play a system. They know what to do out there. Scorpions are going to do that to be successful in the future as well, too.
All right. Since it's taken us way over 2 minutes for the last 2 of them, let's make this quick. And thankfully, we can make it quick because this last one, there was not much to talk about. Blood Red versus Snake Eyes, and the Blood Red just never got off the mat.
Wow. I just say wow. How about that? Just wow. The wheels are coming off. Maybe blood red. I don't know. I mean, they played hard. Give them. They played hard. They tried. They're missing Tommy, but they had superstar Brad Rogers there. They had superstar Steve Jenner from KOD. They had the KOD who are the defending champs over at JCC. They have half their big roster there, and they still couldn't score goals. And then Boris showed up as well too. So. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say about
in this
case,
I'm not sure it had to do with scoring. It had to do with the fact that, and we've thought about this in private, and now it's time to just come out and say it in public. Their defenders are just bad.
Well,
there's just no other way to put it. You get carved up like this. You've got Tom. If Tom has even a mediocre day, you're going to get blown out. Tom did not have a fantastic day, and unfortunately, they need him to have a fantastic day the way they're playing. Ryan for Snake Eyes, let's give him lots of love. 6 points on the day. That's incredible. Snake Eyes set a facility high score in a 9-2 drubbing.
You know what? I respect Eddie's opinion. I'm not going to say that the defenders of Blood are bad. That's not my personal opinion. What I'm going to say is the fact that, again, I don't see chemistry in a system. Snake Eyes definitely have less scoring talent than Blood Red by far. This game, if you told me 9-2 score, I would predict Blood Red over Snake Eyes. It was the other way around. It just shows you how important team chemistry is, how important passing is, how important positioning is out there. I thought the Blood Red was not in position at times. They played hard, they won position, and as a result, that's a big difference overall. Yeah. A big win for the Snake Eyes.
It was. And when we come back, we're going to do a little Who Do You Have?
All right, we're back in about 2 and 2.
Let's take a break. All right, folks. Suds is out getting his credit card out of the car right now. We just finished the podcast, finished the meal. He doesn't know I'm doing this. I just want to say right now, while he's gone, that this is something. When I thought of it a couple seasons ago, I didn't really think it was going to be that big a deal. It's something we could do on the way home because, when we drove home, we always did this sort of thing. We always just talked about the games. So I thought maybe people want to listen in. I'm surprised. Hundreds of you want to listen in. I'd estimate, just off the top of my head, I'd estimate, about 30 to 40% of the league listens in. That is amazing. I am impressed. I am humbled. Guys, we're here at the IHOP in Fairfax. We do this on Wednesdays. You want to come by, you want to join the fun, you want to be part of it. I thank you all. Guys, there's not much else I can say. Thank you. All right, welcome back to the podcast. We've made some headway on our dinner, and we've also made some headway to start the next segment. I call it Who Do You Have? It's
a new segment, guys, where instead of picking teams, we're going to pick players, similar players, discuss their style of play, and figure out who Andy and I would pick if we had a choice with these two players.
And we're going to use this precise mathematical formula here.
And keep in mind, folks, these are either one is a winner.
Right.
No one loses here. They're so similar. We just really dissecting very hard and get it really down and dirty about which detailed play we prefer on our team overall. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's start with. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Andy.
I decided to pick two defenders that I think are very strong stay-home defenders. They play great possession ball. They can both come up. They can both make the long shot. Seth, I'm going to ask you, who do you have? We're going to go with David Delamity of 5-Minute Major and Simon Cantor of Funkmaster Redux.
Okay. David and Simon. David, captain of 5-Minute Majors. Simon, a very underrated defenseman, back end, the Mike Green, if you want to call it, of the Funkmaster Redux. I like them both. I really do. Simon's got a little bit more offense. David's got a little more defense, in my opinion. You can't go wrong with either one, honestly. If I had to pick one or the other, I'll probably go with Simon because he plays in pro right now. He's proven in pro. David's not proven in pro yet. So by just a coin flip, I would take Simon.
All right, let me make the argument for David.
Okay.
David is leading a defense that hasn't allowed a goal in over 2 hours.
That's a very good point.
Furthermore, you're looking at a guy who is not afraid to get physical, who's not afraid to get involved in play. And he is a leader from behind. He has extra responsibility. You look at the Funkmasters, and they've Keith's their captain. That's no knock on Simon. Don't get me wrong, but there's an extra responsibility when you're captain to sort of lead the defense, to sort of call the pairings, help the goalie out. And that's something he does. So, I think that's my argument for David.
Okay, so it's more than just a playing style. If your argument was 5-Minute Major, that's actually an argument for me because there's more than one defensive player on 5-Minute Major. But if you're talking just overall leadership ability, I get that. I'll buy that.
All right, our next pairing is a pair of females who are very active, who do very well on defense, who have a lot in common, and as far as I can tell, they're the same person.
They're not, but but they share the same first name. It's Carrie Topolsky with the E and Carrie G, as we call her, with an K-A-R-I. Two very similar players, two friends who play on some teams together. And in this particular league, they play on different teams. Well, they do share one team in common. That's the Untouchables, different league. Now, let me go on. If you don't mind, I'll take a little time here, Andy, and tell you what I see with Carrie Topolsky and Carrie Garrison. Not Garrison, sorry, Carrie G, not Garrison. Basically,
that's not even her last name, so it doesn't really matter.
I'm not sure why it's in my head.
He has to go home and watch South Park. That's what it is.
Bottom line is they both play great defense. And again, I told this before on the Premier podcast. If you want to see how ladies play defense and how they play hard, watch video of Topolsky and Carrie G. They play excellent defense. Carrie Topolsky plays also more offense too. She has offensive game. Carrie G's more of a defensive player. She hasn't had a chance to play offense yet. I think it's something she needs to work on if she can only get an opportunity to do so. If she does that, she'll be even more valuable. My personal opinion is you definitely want a female who can do both. I get that. I'm a big believer in that. But in our league and most leagues, it's hard to find a female that plays defense, is good at it, and loves it. Carrie G does. So if I had to choose, I would choose Carrie G because I would want a female defender who can play, could be a shutdown defender. I would choose her based upon defense. That's what I would choose.
I would definitely choose Carrie R, and I'll tell you why. You look at what the Puck Buddies have done with a very short bench, and she's part of that very short bench. She plays 30, 40 minutes a game. She played all 45, and it's a team that keeps winning. It's a team that it's not even a matter about scoring. They've had great defense in front of them. Carrie G, when she's on Blood Red, is invisible. Does not really come through.
I'll be a defender. I think it's more Blood Red than Carrie G. A lot of players on Blood Red are invisible these days. Even Tommy Bowser, Boris, they're invisible. So it's not on her. It's just the team in general.
So as I see it, Carrie R has proven herself at the pro level much more than Carrie G has. They both proven themselves at the rec level, but I think that head-to-head, and we'll have a much stronger head-to-head coming up. We'll get to that in a later segment, but you know what? I think you got to go with Carrie R in this battle.
And the reason I'm going to stick with Carrie G, again, I think female defenders are more valuable in this league than two-way players. That's why I think it's hard to find a female player who's a shutdown defender. That's a rarity. It's a rare commodity. And to me, that's why I'm going to lead that direction. But again, you can't go wrong with either one, in my opinion.
All right. Now, when it comes to goalkeepers, there's a lot of recycling in the league.
There is.
And
there certainly is.
You know, they tend to keep themselves. It's a lonely life. It's a strange life. So we're going with two of the most active, not just the most active goaltenders, two of the most active and two of the most friendly people that we have. We're going to give them time in the spotlight.
Absolutely. Definitely deserve some.
Sean Sampson and John Romps.
Two similar style goalies, two veteran goalies, and two people who are absolutely right. They're just great human beings, number one. They do so much for the league, for FDHL, for DCHL. John with DCHL stats, he does for us, compiling stats. Sean, whenever you need something, he always stands up and does it. Both John and Sean, in fact, when we were short referees, they do the stats for us while I'm refereeing, you know what I mean? And while Andy's playing, so two great gentlemen.
I'll tell you that right now.
And two good goalies, too.
I want to give Sean full credit. He is a guy who does not care about his own well-being in a good way.
Yeah, he played 4 games in a row at MDHL in the Heat last Saturday.
He's completely
4
insane.
games in a row. Are you kidding me? I mean, I refereed 4 games in a row, but I'm not having heavy pads on.
I played 2 games. You know, I don't know. Very few people know this, but when we were at Sidwell, I played 2 games in a row in goal in the summer. Sidwell is not air conditioned, and you know, I made it out of there alive, but my lunch didn't. So I don't know how he does it.
So who would you prefer, John Romps or Sean Sampson?
You know what? This is a
tough call. It is a tough call.
I'm going to say right now, I'd say it depends on the team in front of them.
Okay.
If it is a veteran team, I want John Romps because I believe he is I believe he has better reflexes. I believe he is able to get there faster. But, and this is a mental aspect, if it is an inexperienced team, I want Sean Sampson back there because I can tell you right now, John Romps does not have the patience for an inexperienced team, and he'll be the first one to tell you.
I think if you have a veteran team who needs a taskmaster who will kind of get people to face in a good way and make sure people understand what needs to be done, it's John. So I think veteran team is better with John. I think a newer team that needs a lot of positive reinforcement and just a lot of just positive support no matter what goes wrong, that's more Sean's style. So I agree with you. I think based upon the style of team, let me give you an example. 2 Jacks, no Coke, a team that did not get 1 win last year. Put Sean Sampson there. Look at what happened this season. They're in 2nd place.
Yeah,
you know?
they've
That's unbelievable. That's just an example of how Sean does with those teams.
And the previous season, it was John, and he was...
with the Scabs, correct. Absolutely.
But not just that, but I mean, I'll tell you right now, I've seen John with the Scabs when they were trying to fit together. I've seen him at St. Albans. The St. Albans Scabs team was not very good, and I've seen him just absolutely lose it. And that is a problem I would not wish on a rookie team, a team that needs help. Sean is a good starter goalie. He will not get mad. He will not get upset. He understands if he's overmatched. He doesn't take the game too seriously if it's in a case like that. I'm reminded of something that Sparky Anderson, the great AL baseball manager,
for the Tigers, and also for the Cincinnati Reds as well.
Yeah, Big Red Machine manager and the Tigers. When he first came to the Tigers, his reputation with the Big Red Machine preceded him as somebody who would argue a lot of calls and who would fight for his team. First few seasons, though, he was really quiet. And a veteran umpire in the AL, Ken Kaiser, came up to him and said, "I've gotten all these reports from the NL umps that you're a fiery man. Why haven't you said much?" And Sparky said, "My team's not in a position where my arguing is going to do much. When this team gets good, when this team fights the playoffs, I'm going to fight right with them." So right now, that's the attitude that Sean has. Is he looks at the team and he says, "This is a team." He'll see a team that needs to be helped along the way, and he will do that.
He's more vocal with the Ducks, veteran team.
Yes.
He's not as vocal, which is good with the two Ducks, but he's a little more harder on the Ducks, and they're a veteran, think they can take it. So that makes sense overall. So again, that's our who do you have segment out there.
Well, there's one more.
Oh, I forgot. We have the scorer. I forgot the score part.
How could you forget the score?
Yeah, two scores. Who would you choose here? Go ahead.
Well, this is a very difficult one because you've got two scorers who, lead the team, put the team on the back. You've got one who has, who basically will score from anywhere, anytime, in any position, and is the leader of the team. You have another who, in the past, has been a Sud Bowl winner, and has scored the winning goal actually in the championship game, one of the best championship games we had. It was a shootout winning goal. So here we go. Paul Feinstein of the Chiefs, Tommy Bowser of Blood Red. Who do you have?
Two great players, by the way. Two awesome players. You can't go wrong with either one as your startup #1 draft pick. The franchise to start a new team out there. Both are awesome players. Tommy is more of a scorer than a defender. Paul can play defense, but he's also going to score as well too. I think Paul is a better passer than Tommy is. Tommy will tell you that too. Tommy will tell you he's just more of a scorer than a passer. So based upon that, I would probably lean Paul. But Tommy plays, understands hockey, position hockey. Give him credit. He hustles as well too. Tough call, but if you have to choose one guy over the other, I'll probably choose Paul.
All right.
Very tough call.
I'd go with. All right, I'm going to defend Tommy, and the reason I'm going to defend him is that I like his attitude. I like that he goes out there and he does not seem to care. He can win, he can lose, whatever. It doesn't bother him. And he plays the same hard all throughout the game. He doesn't up it. He doesn't get anywhere close to the line. And he has a lot of fun during the game. And you'll see things during, you'll see in some of the broadcasts. He'll have some friendly jostling with the referee. He'll offer his opinion, and nobody takes it seriously. At least we hope nobody takes it seriously.
Tommy's one of the nicest guy out there. He's funny. He understands. He keeps it lighthearted out there, and he's a good guy. He really is a good guy. So I cannot concur with you more. We have to make a pick here, and again, you can't go wrong with either one of those guys out there if you're drafting out there. In fact, probably one of the top 5 draft picks for starting a team will be one of these guys out there overall.
Right.
I guarantee you that. Not number one. Number one would be Keith still, my personal opinion, but that's my personal opinion.
Well, it depends if Jake's available. That's the real question.
Jake.
On Puck Buddies.
Oh yeah, Jake is good. Don't get me wrong. But I want that defender in Keith.
Well,
Jake's more of an offensive scorer. I want a complete player. You know me about complete players.
Yep.
And Keith's a complete player in my mind.
Well, you can see there's a lot to talk about. We have a lot of great players.
Maybe we'll do it next week. Maybe we'll do Keith and Jake next week. We'll tune in next week to find out.
Ooh, boy, that'll be a tough one.
By the way, next week, I talked to Andy. We will do, since playoffs coming up, we'll do a buy-sell on all 16 teams. Yep. Tune in. Playoff preview, big show next week. Don't forget to tune in for that as well.
Our first ever 3-hour podcast.
Exactly.
So when we come back, we're going to look at the final week. I will discuss playoff implications for all the games, all the teams, and we will hear what Suds has to say. I don't know if we're going to be doing picks or we're going to do keys to the game yet. We'll discuss that. But what you're going to see coming up is that a lot of games matter, and a lot of games are going to be pretty exciting.
As they always are.
Yes. So we'll be back after this. We'll look at week 7 coming up.
Check what we always.
A wop bop a loo bop a lop bam boom. It's time for week 7, and if you understand why I said that, congratulations. We're not explaining it.
But the fruit, by the way, this is because I'm on my new eating regimen, so I have to have some fruit. They have no veggies, so I have to choose fruit. FYI, no pancakes at all, unfortunately.
So I get to torture them with my pancakes, which is the best part. All right, week 7 preview. Game 1, Puck Buddies versus Blood Red. Playoff implications for the Puck Buddies. Doesn't matter. Win, lose, draw, whatever they do. They are the number 1 seed. They have a 6-point lead. They can't be caught.
Locked in the only undefeated team also, right?
Right.
Only undefeated, untied team.
Yeah.
Only perfect team.
Only perfect score team right now. Blood Red currently on 3 points. They're in 7th place. If they get the win, then they will lock into 7th. But if they stumble here, the Chiefs have a chance to catch them, and that would be very interesting because it would mean that Blood Red would find themselves against a team like Cobra Kai in a 5-8 game, and would also find themselves in a position where they have to win 2 straight. That's not pretty.
It's, you know what, after a 9-2 loss to the, by the way, this week I'm going to make picks because I'm not refereeing this week, so I feel more comfortable making picks. Otherwise, people always say, "Well, you chose us, and now you're," you know, it's that always bias, which is BS. But you know, now I can make picks this week. For a team to come off a 9-2 loss and then they play the best team in the league, mamma mia, that's all I can tell you. It will not be pretty for Blood Red unless they show up and play hard. You know?
Yeah. I don't like much of their chances. I don't like the way it looks. I think that if Tommy is there, you're going to see a scoring duel. But the problem is, as I've said, Blood Red's defense has let them down all season. I don't see it changing here. All right, game 2.
Blowout. I would say a 2 or 3 goal win at least for Blood Red. Puck Buddies, 2 or 3 goal at least.
I'm not going to touch that part. I'm just going to.
At least.
All right, game 2. 5-minute majors versus the Scabs. Here's what we got here. 5-minute majors at 16 points. They have clinched the 1 seed, barring an emotional meltdown. But when we make these picks, just to let you know, we're going to assume everyone gets the sportsmanship points. We think that's a pretty fair assumption.
Exactly.
Everybody's been doing very well with sportsmanship. We're very proud of this league. We haven't had issues. We like what's going on.
One minor issue, it's been resolved. It was, you know, something that was missed, but it's been resolved. But again, I want to tell you how proud I am of the league out there. We have 8 games. We have 10 games a season out there. We've got 3 more weeks to go. I'm very proud of the people that play in our league out there. I can't say that enough out there, and that's a credit to you guys out there.
So, as it stands right now, 5-minute major on 16, they are going to be the top seed. Scabs are on 10. If they get anything out of this game, they will go to the playoffs. If they don't, if they lose...
They haven't clinched, obviously.
Yeah, if they lose, they can get caught from behind by the Street Sharks, and there's a very unfavorable matchup down the line. We'll explain it when we get there, so it behooves them to win or at least get something out of this. Can they do it? What do you see?
Well, I'm sorry. It's a bad match for the Scabs. They're a team that likes to play offense, run and gun, and they don't come back. 5-minute major they invite them. Come on, come at us, and then we're gonna counter punch and score at will. It's a bad match for the Scabs. I see 5-minute major winning easy here if their roster shows up. Bottom line.
All right, game 3. This is going to be on the YouTube network. We have 2 Jacks No Coke against the Scorpions.
By the way, I'll be calling that game because Eddie's playing. Play-by-play suds. You might just hear this game actually in French. It could be a French play-by-play game. Tune in. I'm not guaranteeing it, but tune in. We'll find out.
No, it won't be. So, here's what you need to know that the Jacks are in somewhere in the playoffs. They don't know where. Depending on what happens, they could be 4th, they could be 3rd, they could be 2nd.
But they're in.
They are in. If they win, they guarantee 2nd. Scorpions, thanks to that loss, they are eliminated, but depending upon results down the line, again, this is how crazy things are, folks. Depending upon results down the line, they could jump to 6th, they could fall to 8th, they might even jump to 5th, depending upon how things break. So, we have 2 teams that don't really play as much of a system, 2 teams that just sort of throw themselves at the front. I'll tell you this much, it's going to be fun to watch. I don't know how it's going to turn out, though. This might come down to talent, and that's where you think the Jacks would have an advantage. What do you think? Again,
I'm a big believer in systems. Systems breed chemistry, they breed cohesiveness, they breed teaming. I think the 2 Jacks No Coke have a great chemistry, cohesion out there. I think 2 Jacks No Coke is a better team right now. I think the Scabs have more, Scorpions have more talent, honestly. But I think the 2 Jacks No Coke play better together as a team right now. So I'm going to pick 2 Jacks No Coke.
All right. Game 4. We've got Street Sharks against L2T. Street Sharks are in the craziest position right now.
Here's what I mean. They are on 7. They've got a couple of teams ahead of them. They have the Scabs on 10. They win and the Scabs lose. Well, things get interesting. I don't remember who won that game. I don't really care at this point because suddenly, here's what I'm talking about. If it's a two-way tie, that might not benefit the Street Sharks, but
they have a chance. They have a chance.
They have a long shot.
As they say it in was it Dumb and Dumber? They have a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance?
There's a chance. Yes, there's a chance. Yeah.
It's a long shot, but it's a chance. They need to win. They need the majors to win, and they might need more. They might need goal difference to go their way. I really don't remember off the top of my head. As for L2T,
they clinched the bottom seed playoff.
Well, they've clinched it, and they need a win to avoid being dead last. So the matchup favors the Street Sharks. Is this going to be what works out in their favor?
Yes. I'm sorry, I just saw a text that I had to laugh at. I apologize. I think the Sharks are actually a pretty good team. L2T's playing better. They're playing. You know what? L2T, David Kramer, Dino's back this season hopefully, which is a good #1 draft pick. Let me tell you, some good players coming next season out there. Play hard. L2T will get a lot of good help coming in next season if they need it out there. FYI.
Now watch them win in the playoffs and blow the #1 pick.
I think the Sharks are just a better team, but you know what? This could be a run. This could be a fun running gun game. You know, so Sharks aren't exactly the greatest defense in the world. L2T likes to go. So it should be a good game to watch.
All right, Game 5. This one has a lot going on for it. We've got Cobra Kai against the Snake Eyes. Both teams on 7 in the Pro Division. Both teams lose tiebreakers to the NWO, which is why they can't get in. But winner is the 5, loser is the 6. And given that Blood Red and the Chiefs are hiding behind them, that's a poison you might want to be able to pick there.
Well, in my personal opinion, Fuckmaster. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong spreadsheet. I'm looking at BWR and Untouchables out there. Untouchables.
No, we're not there yet.
We're
on Cobra Kai and Snake. Would you pay attention to the podcast?
I'm sorry, I had a text up there.
This is what I put up with, people. I don't understand.
And someone's been texting me throughout this podcast. That person's gonna get killed tomorrow. But and that person plays the league, by the way. I will not name that person right now, publicly.
But the initials are Jason Sticka.
No, it's not Jason Sticka. It's not Jason. It's not a male, actually. But Cobra Kai and the Snake Eyes are the game we're talking about overall. Cobra Kai, wow, how will they react? They're not going to be defending their cup. What's their emotion like overall? Snake Eyes coming off a big win. They were looking forward to have a chance to make the playoffs, but unfortunately, the way the playoffs set up, they're not going to get in. But they want to get the #1 seed. To get the #1 seed, remember, in the Pro Division, you have to lose twice.
Right.
So this #1 seed is very important for the Snake Eyes in the bottom division playoffs because they get the #1 seed. If they lose only once, they'll get demoted. So big game for Snake Eyes. Cobra Kai, same boat. They're probably the same spot right now.
Right.
So it's a game that really matters overall in this case.
And one more note on the Snake Eyes I want to say right now. Part of the reason they thought they had a hope of making the playoffs is they have beaten the NWO, so they thought if those two teams tied, they'd get the advantage. But that win was a shootout win, and the NWO will have more regulation wins if they finish even. So that's actually a trump tiebreaker. Plus, let's be fair here. This all comes down to one of the more inexplicable moments of this season.
Which is?
If the Snake Eyes had read any of the 57 schedules that we had out there.
Let's don't go there. Let's don't go there. The person already feels bad enough as it is, And I understand. It's human.
And by the way, the Snake Eyes appealed the forfeit and wanted a replay. You can imagine. The only question is how many seconds did it take you to say no?
All I can tell you is the fact that it's unfortunate, but you know what? There's a chance that they can win the TGIS Cup and not get demoted. So this is a very important game for them, and also for Cobra Kai, because if you're a lower seed, then it gets harder and harder not to get demoted if you lose a game.
Absolutely.
So it's a good game. I'll be interested to see how this game plays out. This is one of the more intriguing games on paper, I think.
Very much.
And let's see how it plays out overall.
All right. Now to the one that he thought he was talking about: Babylon Warriors and Untouchables.
One game later.
Untouchables are on 9 and in 4th. 4th. Babylon Warriors are on 8th and in 5th. Guys, it doesn't get any simpler than this. The winner is in. Maybe. I say maybe because if the Babylon Warriors need a shootout win, both of those teams would end on 10. We assume the Scabs lose to the Majors, they're on 10. We assume the Street Sharks beat L2T, they're on 10. Guys, why?
I'll say this though about this game. It should be a good game. If the Untouchables make the playoff, that to me has to be probably the biggest upset in the league this season.
Weren't you saying before the season that this was a team that was going to do very well because
they were, but their best player never got to play the game. That was based upon Greg Domenico playing. But they have Fabian, who's also very good. They just, I just wonder where the scores have come from, and they've done a good job playing defense. Give credit to Jay and Jessica again. They do a great job teaching defense position hockey. And if they make the playoff, that to me is an unbelievable upset.
And let's be honest,
probably the second best story beside 2 Jackson O'Coke.
And let's be honest here, George in goal is probably the most underrated goalie in the league.
Yes, certainly is. So
now that said,
with that said, both teams are on an upward swing. It should be a great game. That's what we want to see out there. And that's what playoffs are all about. Winner take all.
I think if it comes to what you often see in the playoffs is it comes, especially you see it in the NBA playoffs. You'll see it in the Major League playoffs. I don't know if it happens much in the NHL playoffs because it's so goalie heavy, but in a game that matters, the star wins.
Star. I mean, in the NHL playoffs, stars don't win. Team defense wins.
No, goaltending wins. Let's get it.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you go with Stark, I would pick Untouchables. Star. JP's a great player, but he can't carry the team out there. I just think Babylon Warriors have a little too much offense. That's my personal opinion.
We'll see, and it all depends on who shows up, and I mean that in a literal sense.
Next game we have on schedule?
Next game is Chiefs versus Funk Masters. The Funk Masters breathed a sigh of relief when they qualified with a week to spare because Keith has already said he's not going to be there for this game.
He's not.
No, he's not.
I missed that.
He told me that at the end of the day when he said, "I'm glad we got this out of the way ahead of time."
Really?
Now,
I did not know that. That's going to definitely, as Vegas Sun says, the game is not off the board.
Yes, that game has to be removed from the board. The Funk Masters are on 11 points. They can finish second, third, or fourth. The Chiefs are on 3 points. They now have a golden opportunity to sneak up to 7th and put
big chance.
That would be big because if they wind up in 7th, can you imagine if they played the Snake Eyes again?
Wow.
We saw what happened last time. That's going to be something that the defense is going to have to think about.
Well, let's hope. As a commissioner, I'm privy to some things. Let's hope we don't have a Snake Eyes Chiefs first round playoff match because both teams have totally different schedule needs for that week. That will be someone's going to lose in that regard. So I'm just praying it won't be the Snake Eyes Chiefs first round. Otherwise, someone's going to be very unhappy from a scheduling standpoint for the first round playoffs.
Well, you know what? That's what happens in the playoffs. You'll live with it.
Exactly. Now, but it's also a relegation game, and those are very, very important. So I do give that scheduling priority importance because people are playing relegation games. You will get more of an opportunity. But now it's not one game relegation anymore. Keep that in mind. It's now almost a double elimination relegation. So one game will not kill you. Mm-hmm. But if you're lower seed, you want definitely it's important with that first game. Knowing that now, and if Paul shows up, like I think he's going to be there, I'm going to pick the Chiefs. Bottom line.
All right.
No Keith. That's a big loss. I mean, they're good players, don't get me wrong, but that's a big loss.
Right. Final game. The NWO might be one of the better stories this season, considering that this is a team that usually gets in, that usually hangs onto their pro spot by a thread. Finally.
They finally climbed the mountain, right?
They are showing the potential we always thought they had.
Expression. They're over the hump. They've climbed the mountain. They've broken the dam. Use all the expression you want. They've finally come to fruition, and I'm happy. I'm happy for Jason. I'm happy for they have stayed true to the roster. Eric Kalo, Jason, Mike, Jeff.
They're only real pickups in Bill Nardi, who
and who's missed a lot of games too. So
he hasn't exactly been there the whole time.
Been a big difference maker this season. He's played well, but I'm so proud of it because these guys, they're a social group. They stuck together and they played hard. They played clean, and they deserve this. I'm happy for them as a team, and I'm happy to see they're going to make the playoff and have a chance for the DCHL Cup.
And
good for them.
And you're also very, very happy. Your personal favorite team, the Ducks, is going to make the playoffs as well.
It's not a personal. Well, it's not personal because they are the ideal franchise socially. How they can play the game out there. That's why Ducks are my favorite because they are perfect. They're low maintenance. I don't have to worry about emails from them, about roster issues. They take care of themselves. They play hard. They have fun. They don't complain, win or lose. So that to me is a perfect team.
All right.
Not the winning-loss record, just the overall team.
Now,
concept.
once again, both these teams finished second, finished third, finished fourth. The NWO, if they beat the Ducks, would vault them in the standings.
Big game again.
But they have to win in regulation. Excuse me. Otherwise, the Ducks will hold on by a thread. A lot of things on the line here. And what's going to be interesting about this is that the Ducks and their system is freewheeling, full attack. They have, and the NWO is going to absorb and to counter. This is something where the Ducks system plays into the NWO's hands, or vice versa. I mean, this is a perfect mesh, and you're going to see a very good game, and you're going to see a lesson in full attack and a lesson in counter attack. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be a thinking man's game.
It's also a
TV
game, which
yes.
Andy would tell you to be TV game. So we'll have it on video for you to watch on the YouTube channel middle of the week, sometime next week out there. What Andy and I have not mentioned about this game yet. This is a game, to me, of all the games on the schedule, if you want to win the DCHL Cup, this is the most important game, because I'll tell you why. The loser of this game plays the Puck Buddies in the first round.
Probably.
Most likely.
Yes.
Not always. So NWO, they're playing well, but you don't want to play the Puck Buddies the first round. You don't want to do that.
No.
So there's a lot of motivation for both these two teams to get that, at least get a point or get a win and push somebody else back and forth, because you don't want to play the Puck Buddies first round. You just don't want to do that. It's FYI.
You got to play them eventually if you're going to win the cup.
Yeah, but you want to hopefully have somebody else maybe beat them in the first round, or meet them in the finals. You want to avoid them in the first round.
All right. So as for how this game is going to turn out, I've already said I think this is a thinking man's game. You're going to see something that you can teach from. You're going to see a way to teach the full press that the Ducks do. You're going to see a way to teach the counterattack. Mike Johnson is so good at getting loose on a counterattack. You're going to see goaltenders. You're going to see a stand-up goalie in Sean Sampson, a butterfly goalie in Roger Cruz. You're going to see a lot of things going on here. But who are you going to see win?
And before I answer that question for you, if you recall last season at Tacoma Park, these two teams had a great regular season game.
They did.
It was back and forth. Ended up being, I think, a 6-6 tie or something like that. But it was a 4-4 tie. It was a great game out there. I think right now, and I'm a Ducks fan, I gotta say NWO. They just play a grittier. They have more grit on that team out there. Ducks lack a little grit overall. I think the grit may be a difference out there, and grit always stops offense, in my personal opinion. I would lean NWO.
All right,
I'm not a homer.
As it stands entering this last week, here's the standings. It is Puck Buddies 18, Ducks 12, Funk Masters 11, NWO 10 with all the tiebreakers, Cobra Kai 7, Snake Eyes 7, Blood Red 3, Chiefs 3. Blood Red has the tiebreaker there. Over on the rec side, you got the Majors at 16, the Jacks at 12. Then you have the Mess, Scabs at 10, Untouchables at 9, Warriors at 8, Street Trucks at 7. They're all still alive. Scorpions are at 5, L2T is at 2. Big thing we want to talk about here is there is no goose egg. I think that's something that I know you as a commissioner want to see.
L2T got a couple of shootout points, which is good to see as well too. I'm very happy about that. We talk about competition, competitive level overall. It's good to see that. We work very hard to make sure there's no stacking. We have all these rules in place, and I appreciate people cooperating with the rules as well too. This is why we do it, to have fun. It's all about having fun overall. I want to go back and say one thing. I'll ask any one question actually on scenarios. Does NW to get 2 points to get to third place?
No, they need all 3 to pass the Ducks, unless
all 3.
Unless something crazy happens to the Funk Masters.
Okay, but what if Funk lose?
If Funk loses, then NW would only need 2 to jump ahead.
So they would need to get a regulation win.
They need a regulation
shootout.
Right. They need. They're 1 point behind the Funks. They're 2 behind the Ducks. So they need all 3 points to pass the Ducks. They only need 2 to pass the Funks. Of course, if the Funk Masters still find a way to win anyway, then that's a moot point.
Exactly.
There's a lot going on here.
I'm counting the Funk Master law. I'm just projecting the Funk Master. It's projections here. I'm being Karl Rove here, projecting Ohio. I'm not correct. That was last season. I'm projecting the Funk Master loss column here, which means that NW needs to get 2 points to vault Funk into the third spot. So FYI.
Now that's going to be very interesting. We've been talking for about an hour. I know in the past we've gone on very long. We want to apologize a little bit for that, but we wanted to share everything we had to say. And as this is the last one of the regular season, I want to say a few thank yous to people who have helped me in the broadcast. I have interviewed people throughout the season. I've interviewed, as soon as we get past the seam, I'll tell you about some of the people. I'll tell you right now, that's one of the joys I've had when I've done the DCHL network games, is that I have had to talk, is I've had people who are willing to get involved, willing to play along, willing to answer questions that I ask.
Rob is back. Rob, the head referee's back. As personally, I actually enjoyed the last 2 weeks. I enjoyed refereeing with Neil. I think we did a good job. We had a good chemistry going on as well too. It was fun. There weren't any issues at all, as I can recall out there. But it's good to have the top man back, so I can do what I want to do, quality control. And actually, guys, alert! It's photo day. Set to the camera. Photo day. Make sure you wear your shirts. Even if you have to wear white, bring your normal shirt as well too for a photo day. I appreciate that. And since we'll be walking around taking cameras, pictures, and videos all day long, so it's our media day at DCHL.
Now, the fortunate thing is I'm looking at the schedule. There's no conflict.
I don't think there is either. So it's to be good out there.
So I want to say right now, I want to thank a few people.
Okay.
I want to thank John Robs. I want to thank Brian Smalley. I want to thank Jason Sticka. I want to thank Molly Sedaris, Simon Cantor, Mara Duquette, Sarah Facina. I want to thank Luke Taylor. I want to thank you. I want to thank Neil Romdale, Rob Ostandius. These are all people who have taken time through the games, who I've managed to sort of drag onto the camera to talk during the game, and they've been willing to play along. They've enjoyed the experience. They've made it better for me. I think they've made it better for you out there watching the game as well. At least
it's been great. We have a lot of good people who help out. I agree completely out there. People chip in so much. That's what makes it so fun. It's a family atmosphere. I keep saying it over and over again, and that's why I love this league. And that's not just my league, but it's just the culture we have, and I hope it continues long term for us.
Yeah, we are a family here, and this Sunday we'll have all our brothers with us.
Absolutely, brothers and sisters.
Yes. So until then, we will see you Sunday for Judgment Day. This is for Suds. This is Andy, the voice going silent.